Welcome to Common Sense. Here, we dive deep into history, culture, and society, bringing you detailed analyses of key events, influential figures, and complex systems that shape our world today. Whether it's exploring the life and work of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar or understanding the deeper mechanisms of social structures, our mission is to enlighten, educate, and inspire. Subscribe and join us on this journey of discovery and transformation.
Here is a summary of B.R. Ambedkar's Annihilation of Caste, presented in bullet points. The summary draws upon the provided excerpts from Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Writings and Speeches Volume 1. Ambedkar argues that the caste system is the most significant obstacle to India's social, political, and economic progress. He contends that caste has fragmented Indian society, hindering national unity and fostering animosity and prejudice among different groups. Ambedkar criticizes the caste system's impact on Hindu society, stating that it has fostered an anti-social spirit, preventing cooperation and collective action. He argues that caste loyalty supersedes national loyalty, hindering India's ability to defend itself. Ambedkar refutes the notion of inherent differences between castes based on eugenics or division of labor. He asserts that caste is an artificial social construct that has no scientific basis and, in reality, has led to the degradation of the Hindu people. Ambedkar challenges the effectiveness of social reform movements that focus solely on reforming Hindu family practices like widow remarriage and child marriage without addressing the root cause, the caste system itself. He asserts that true social reform requires a complete annihilation of caste. Ambedkar criticizes the apathy and indifference of the upper castes towards the plight of the lower castes, arguing that the caste system has bred a lack of empathy and compassion within Hindu society. He contends that this indifference allows for the perpetuation of social injustices. Ambedkar criticizes the role of the Brahmin caste as the self-proclaimed intellectual class of Hindu society, arguing that their vested interests in maintaining the caste system have prevented meaningful social reform. He asserts that Brahmins have historically used their position to exploit and oppress lower castes. Ambedkar argues that the concept of karma and dharma, as interpreted and enforced through the caste system, has created a fatalistic outlook among the lower castes, hindering their desire for social mobility and perpetuating their subjugation. He asserts that this fatalism has crippled the potential of a large segment of the Indian population. Ambedkar rejects the idea of reforming the caste system by transitioning from the existing thousands of castes to the fourfold Chaturvarnya system proposed by groups like the Arya Samaj. He argues that this approach, even if based on individual merit rather than birth, still perpetuates a hierarchical and discriminatory social order. Ambedkar criticizes the concept of Chaturvarnya as inherently flawed and oppressive, pointing to historical evidence suggesting that the only period of true freedom and prosperity in India was during the Maurya Empire, when the Chaturvarnya system was abolished. He argues that Chaturvarnya disempowers the masses and stifles progress. Ambedkar argues that the existence of caste among non-Hindu communities in India is fundamentally different from the Hindu caste system. He contends that caste among Muslims, Sikhs, and Christians lacks the religious sanction and rigid social consequences that define Hindu caste. Ambedkar emphasizes that the Hindu caste system is not merely a social practice, but a deeply ingrained religious belief, perpetuated by the unquestioned authority of Hindu scriptures Shastras. He argues that any attempt to abolish caste must address these religious foundations. Ambedkar asserts that superficial measures like inter-caste dinners, while well-intentioned, are inadequate for dismantling the caste system. He argues that true social change requires a fundamental shift in beliefs and attitudes, which can only be achieved by challenging the authority of the Shastras. Ambedkar argues that inter-caste marriage is the most effective means to dismantle the caste system, as it breaks down social barriers and promotes a sense of kinship and shared identity across caste lines. He acknowledges that achieving widespread inter-caste marriage would necessitate a profound transformation in the religious and social values of Hindus. Ambedkar suggests that reformers need to adopt the approach of figures like Buddha and Guru Nanak, who directly challenged the authority of scriptures and advocated for a more egalitarian social order. He encourages reformers to boldly confront the religious basis of caste. Ambedkar expresses his deep pessimism about the possibility of dismantling the caste system from within Hinduism. He believes that the deeply entrenched nature of caste, coupled with the resistance of the privileged castes, makes internal reform highly unlikely. Ambedkar highlights the crucial role of an independent and intellectually honest leadership in driving social change. He laments the fact that the Brahmin caste, by assuming the role of the intellectual class, has stifled dissenting voices and perpetuated the status quo. Ambedkar asserts that the hierarchical structure of the caste system, with its graded system of social and religious rights, makes it difficult to mobilize a united opposition. He argues that the fear of losing their relative status and privileges prevents many castes from challenging the system as a whole. Ambedkar criticizes the concept of prayaskita, atonement, arguing that it has allowed the caste system to adapt and survive in the face of criticism by providing a mechanism for individuals to atone for caste-related transgressions without challenging the system itself. He asserts that prayaskita has served as a safety valve, preventing a more radical questioning of caste. Ambedkar underscores the importance of political representation for the marginalized communities, including the scheduled castes, to voice their grievances and advocate for their rights. He argues that adequate representation is essential for achieving social justice and dismantling oppressive structures. Ambedkar emphasizes the need for concrete measures, including legal protections and affirmative action policies, to uplift the scheduled castes and counteract the historical disadvantages they have faced due to the caste system. He advocates for a proactive approach to achieve social and economic equality. This summary reflects the key arguments presented by Ambedkar on Annihilation of Caste. It aims to provide a comprehensive overview of his critique of the caste system and his proposed solutions.
Thanks for watching. If you found this content insightful, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and hit that subscribe button for more in-depth explorations into history, society, and culture. Stay tuned for our next episode, and until then, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep pushing for a better tomorrow. See you next time.